Oops. Hey there, it's Kathy House with Be Creative with Kathy, and good afternoon. I have a video ready for you, or at least a card for a video ready for you, but before I do that, last Monday I promised I would show the cards from my shoebox swap. Let's see, they're over here. And then I forgot at the end of the video to show you. So I'm going to start my video with the end of the last video to kind of continue and show you. So we were talking about, this was my card for the shoebox swap. Now if you want to see how I did my card, I did a video, you can just go to my YouTube channel, Be Creative with Kathy, and you can find it there. Or you can go to my blog. I'll try to put the link below and you can find how I made my card here. Now I did, because most of these items are out of this new mini catalog, I used the Country Floral Lane suite. This is what I used, this bundle here and these two designer series papers. I think I wrote everything down on all the swaps so I can show you where to find them, because that's half the fun, is if you got the stamp set and you want to see where to use it and other ideas how to use it, and so I'll show you where to find it in the catalog. But this one was by Ruth. Ruth did this one. That's that Easter bunny. It's on page 52. So we'll go like this. Page 52, the cute little Easter bunny bundle that has that cute little bunny punch. That was Ruth's. Look how cute that is. And then I think I put those little eggs, yeah, on the inside of that one there. Okay. And then this one, look how pretty this is. Now this is a stamp set out of the annual catalog, and I have my annual catalog here, but it's on page 25. Well, let's go ahead. I thought this was a really, really pretty card. I love the, oh, I'm not going to kill the color now. Bermuda Bay with the, I can't do two things at once. I have to find page 25 first, and then we'll talk about the colors. The color scheme on this card is really pretty. Coastal Cabana and Bermuda Bay. And it might be Pool Party. I don't know which the base color is, but look at how pretty using this stamp here. Now when I saw this stamp, I thought that's nice, but the way that we did the big flower as the background, and then line this up as the little pretty border right there. And then I do love the way this punches out the border and that thank you. It was a really pretty card that made me look twice at this lovely and lasting bundle. And look how pretty that is. And then just some silver thread there. And that was done by Valerie. So there's Valerie's card. Really pretty cards. All the cards that we did the shoebox are like nice. Oh, and while we're here, let's go. Now this one, I don't think I wrote down the number because I know it was the ladybug. But let's go back here and try to find where the ladybug is on this card. This card was done by Laura, I believe. Yep, Laura. And the ladybug must not be a bundle. I'm not going to be able to find out which page it's on. But it's a punch bundle too. I'm going to keep trying. Nope, it doesn't have a punch number, but it used the ladybug punch, which you can't even see. There you go. And the stamp set. And look how cute. And then this die, and I can't remember what this is called, this edge die. Now that I've seen it used like that, now that's on my wish list too. But look how cute that card is by Laura. Thanks, Laura. Like I said, all the cards are really good. Now this was Jane. She's the one that coordinated this wonderful shoebox swap. This was her card. She used the Dainty Delight on page 55. So let's check that out real quick. This one looks like this here, the dies and the cute little stamp set. It also has that coordinating designer series paper excuse me, that you can get for free with Sale-a-Bration with the qualifying order. So that was Jane's swap from the card from the swap. Boy, this one was Janice. I hope I pronounced her name right. She used those floral frames. Nope, I can't remember. Framed florets. There we go. For the die cuts, and then she used those happy gnomes. And let's see what page the happy gnomes. Oops, sorry, friendly gnomes on page 40. Boy, you'd think. Trying to get organized here. 40, right here. Look how cute. Now, the dies to this were in the catalog before, the mini catalog, what I always call the winter or the Christmas catalog, and they are still available. So you can still get the dies that coordinate with this stamp set. And look how cute that card is with that little purple gnome on there. Okay, I don't think we stamped. Oh yeah, this one we stamped on the inside a little flower, then colored it, and I also stamped on my envelope. So there you go. Thanks, Janice. I think that's an adorable card too. Then this one here, this was by Michelle, and this is the Petal Park on page 32. Let's go look. Oh, this is another punch bundle. This is one I've had my eye on. It was kind of nice to use it at the shoebox swap. It's a two-step stamp. So you stamp it, the outline, and then you stamp the inside. Although really all we used was the flowers, and then it has a punch that punches out, and it was really cute. And this is a Wash and Beauty Designer Series paper with a gatefold like that. So like I said, that was Michelle's card. And you never go wrong with these brushed butterflies, excuse me. And then last and not least is Angela's. Look how cute that is. Now that uses the Light the Way on page 18. So let's go look at that stamp set. Like this. And we just did the stamped off image. We colored it with a marker and then got those different colors from stamping it without coloring in between. So it's different colors by stamping it off. I think that's how some. But look at that color combination. This is Seafoam Green, a little bit of Evening Evergreen, and then some, I believe this is Granny Apple Green. So just colors I would have never put together, but look how cute that is. Okay, so that was the swaps, and I apologize that last week I always get nervous when I get on camera, then I want to get off as soon as I can, and I totally forgot to show you the swaps. So now you've seen them. So let's go on to today's card. So tonight I'm in another swap. It's the Kindred Inker. It's my uplines meeting, and so there'll be, I think there's 10 of us, maybe 12, and so I have all my pieces and parts here for my card. I have some scraps. We'll do some stamping, we'll do some die cutting, and we'll just take care of everything. Now this is using the Sale-a-Bration stamp set that is called Beautifully Happy, and look how pretty that is. Now, the measurements, I've cut them all out, but I'm not quite sure what they are. Always go to my blog, BeCreativeWithKathy.com, and you can find the measurements and even a supply list. Because sometimes, well, I always say the words that come out of my mouth aren't exactly right. And I think I try to rush and I get nervous, and that's how it is. But let me just show you real quick, very simple card, how I made this card. We're going to start with some stamping. So I just have some basic white cardstock here, and I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat and just a piece of scratch paper. This, I'm going to real quick take my Memento black ink, and I'm going to turn my stamp over because it's kind of a big image, so I'm going to go ink to stamp rather than a normal stamp to ink. So I'm going to just ink that up really good. Now I have to be honest with you, Memento ink I think it's a great ink, don't get me wrong, but sometimes because Memento has a felt ink pad, it's a little bit harder to get a good image. So I'm going to ink him up well. I'm going to turn this over because I think I see a dirty spot on my cardstock. And then I'm going to lay this down. Now I'm going to tilt it just a little bit, and I want to leave room by this flower over here, so I'm going to get the leaf a little closer to the edge than my flower, and I'm going to just hopefully stamp it down just like that. We'll see what we think. Now I'm not pushing on the stamp because I don't want those fine lines, I don't want them to be thick, but I'm going to hold it firm so that that ink sinks into my paper. And look, I think I did pretty good. We'll keep that one, but while we have that stamped out and available, let's take our card base. This is just thick basic white. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it down here in the center. This is going to be the inside of our card. I'm going to just ink that up again, because when we're stamping, we might as well do all of our stamping at the same time. Okay, and then I'm going to just lay this across the corner and get most of those pretty flowers in the corner of my card. Now the other great thing about this stamp set is that it has lots of words in there. So I'm going to take the words that say for a very happy birthday. I'm going to ink those up in black. Let's see if this is the right one. Yep, for a very happy birthday. And I'm going to ink it up good here. And then I'm not going to apply a lot of pressure because remember, I don't want to smash those fine lines. I want to have a nice crisp image. So I'm going to ink it up, like I said, good. And I'm going to set it down, try to get it straight, and just hold it there firm without applying a lot of pressure. Let that ink sink into my paper. And then there. Look how pretty that turns out when you don't smush your stamps. Okay, let's go ahead and add some color to our flower here. I'm going to take some petal pink, and that's the color of the designer series paper in the background. I'm going to ink up this next step, which is these flowers. Maybe I'll put the stamp set here so you can see the images in the stamp set that line up. And then I'm going to kind of just hover around until I see it line up with the 3 main flowers in this stamp set. Line it up and then just set it down there. Again, let that ink sink in for just a second. And look how pretty that is. Okay, let's do the same thing for the front. Kind of hover here a little bit to get it straight. And when it looks straight, we're going to just set our image down. I don't think I got this one as like in the lines as I did. Oh yeah, looky there. Really pretty. Okay, all done with the petal pink. Let's bring in some green. I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz. And as you can see here, I'm going to stamp off so it's a little lighter. Boy, and I should have changed blocks. This stamp almost falls off this block, but it worked out just fine, so it's going to work again. I'm going to stamp off here because I want that lighter color. And there again, I'm going to line up all my little leaves here, and then just set it down. And look how pretty that is. Now let's do the same thing to the inside. Once again, I'm going to stamp off here just to get it a little bit lighter, and then try to line it up with those 3 like that. Set it down. I think the hovering works really nice, and you can see through, since we're stamping, the lighter color over that dark in the background. Now we have this little wing-a-ding here. I'm going to stamp off again. And then this time I'm going to line up these 3 little, like the bottom of these flowers, and then this one tends to line up a little bit easier when I start with those. Line those up, and then set that down, and there we go. One more time, and then we're going to stamp this off. Do the same thing over here. Get my little wing-a-dings, or whatever those are called, lined up like that. And looky there. Okay, one last thing, well, really 2 more things we have to do. We're going to bring in that Memento ink again, and I'm going to put, there's even a stamp for that little tiny center of the flower. I'm going to stamp it in black, and then it's going to have that really nice pop when you add the layers to the card. And here too. And then maybe my favorite part of the stamp set is this little sprinkle right here. So we're going to just add that around the card. Now, I should give Karen, and I apologize, I don't know how to pronounce Karen's last name, but I cased her card. If you saw her card, you'd be like, those are kind of the same, but not really. I put my own taste on it, but it's Creative Stamping Designs. That's if you want to go find Karen's card, that's how you would Google her blog or whatever, you would find her there. Look how pretty though, that little bit. In fact, you know what, I'm going to go down here just a little more and just kind of outline that flower with those little splatters, I guess they'd be called. Let's do the same thing to this piece. I'm going to set it here. This is why we put the flower a little bit further away than the leaf, because I want one there. And then I'm going to just put one there, one here, and let's even go down here. There we go. Okay, now we're almost all done stamping. We need to do our little greeting here. So I'm going to set this aside and let this dry and bring in just a black, I'm going to try, here we go, a black scrap. Bring back in my Pierce mat since it's a photopolymer stamp set. I'm going to use my embossing buddy and, here he is, and my reverse tweezers. Now these are part of the embossing additions kit, something like that. They were in the catalog before. Now you can only find them online, but they are, I think, essential when you're trying to heat emboss your greeting like this, especially on dark paper. So I'm going to just take my embossing buddy and run it along my paper. This is going to take any static away, fingerprints, anything like that on your paper, because we only want the embossing powder, which is really shaved plastic, to stick to the ink, which is Versamark, on our stamp. And let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to use the words that say, sending happy thoughts. Try not to stamp it upside down, although it really wouldn't matter. And I'm going to just stamp it down here on the paper. Set it down gently. I don't want to smash those fine lines again. There we go. Now I know you can't see it. Well, maybe you can a little bit on there because of the embossing powder, but it's just a clear sticky ink. And then I'm going to take my white embossing powder. Now Stampin' Up sells their embossing powders in kits, so I believe this is called the Basics. But like I said, there's a supply list on my blog. You can make sure you get the right one by clicking on the link there. But see how that embossing powder just stuck to the ink? No extras. I'm going to turn that on. I guess I don't need my well, I don't need my tweezers. When I do my other ones, because I've already cut all my little pieces, I'd have to hold with my tweezers if you're going to emboss on a little piece like this. But we're going to cut this one out after. Because when I'm making 12 cards for my swap, it's easier to cut all those, sorry, can't do two things at once. It's easier to cut all these out before and then stamp on them. But when we're just making one for the video, I'm doing it this way. Okay, we have that all ready to go. So now we're going to use these new, and I have fallen in love with these Something Fancy dies. I love this die right here. And I don't even know what shape this is. I guess it's like a banner shape, but it's really a nice die for simple greetings like this. So looky here what I have. Have you seen this? This is the new mini emboss, or cut and emboss machine. It's free during Sale-a-Bration when you sign up to become a demonstrator, or simply just buy your starter kit. And look, I've never used it before. I don't even have the supplies open. Let's see what comes with it here. So in with the machine, you get, of course, the instructions, but we don't need those. We have our platform, number 1. We have, ooh, look, a brand new, clear, pretty cutting pad. Well, in fact, you get 2 of those. And then these are your embossing folder plates, which we're not going to use today. But we're going to use those new, pretty cutting pads. Now, when you use a mini machine, you have to stagger your plates. See how I don't have the plates exactly on top of one another at the end? We're going to stagger our plate like that. Set our paper on there. Let's see if we can put this on there without using some washi tape. We'll see how straight I can get it, and if it stays put. It's got to go down a little more. It's a tight fit in there, but it works just right. Does that look pretty straight? Let me throw my head in the camera. Okay, then I'm going to lay this one on top, again looking through to make sure that that's still straight. Still looks pretty good. I have my plate staggered here, and I'm going to run that through this pretty new machine. Now, I can't remember what color this is, but I've been told that this is going to be a new in color in the 2023-2024 catalog. So the in colors that last for 2 years, the new one's coming out. And there we go. Look, it's not too bad of my cutting out. I'm happy with that turned out. Okay, so on the back of this, just real quick, let's put some dimensionals on there since we have it out and ready. I'm going to just use a couple standard dimensionals. 1, and 2, and let's go ahead and put our card together. So we had, all my stuff is buried over here now. We have our card base and our decorative flower piece. Let's fold this in half. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a real nice crisp. I'm going to set that aside. Now, when you cut your paper, because one of our layers is just this mat right here that's 5 1/4 by 4, and when you cut those pieces, you have all of these little, let me see if I strips that are about 1/2 inch by 4. Now let's see if I got the right ones. I think, because some of them, yep, that must be 5 1/2. No, those are the wrong. They look like this. There we go. 5 1/2, or I'm sorry, 1/2 inch by 4 inches, because when you cut your paper down, you have this little strip. We're going to use that today, and I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper. Let's find a piece of grid paper here. I'm going to lay my paper right here, that little strip, and then I'm going to put some adhesive along the side of my white here, and then I'm going to lay this along my grid paper so I get it nice and straight and even like that. And look how pretty that little piece of black on there is. Then we're going to take this piece and put a little bit of adhesive on the back here. And then we're going to layer this onto our designer series paper, doing the same thing. I'm going to use my grid paper to make sure that this piece gets straight. Whoop. I'm going to just go one little square like this. Get it as straight as I can. That looks pretty good. And lay that down on our designer series paper. So then we have that little border here. I like how you can see the designer series paper on this side and on this side. And dang, I have a terrible glare. Plug your ears, it's going to be loud. There we go. That's better. But there you go. And this designer series paper is out of the annual catalog. It's a hostess paper too. So that's what this is. But any subtle designer series paper like that, I think would work well on this card. So then a little bit of adhesive on the back, and then we're going to layer this on that black mat like this. And just like that, we're almost done. We're going to layer this onto the front of our card base. Like that. There, and then let's just slip our little greeting right on the front. And I'm going to put it down here just to cover up that basic stem. Now, I think because I put the splattering around, this doesn't need any bling or any extra gems or anything like that on top of it. However, the one thing it does need is just a little bit wink of Stella on those flowers. So I'll just paint that on there real quick. And then just like that, it's a really pretty and kind of simple card for my swap tonight. Now, excuse me, hopefully tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, next Monday, I will remember to show you all the swaps that I get from this swap here. Now, some of us swap by mail, so I won't have all of them. I think, like I said, I think there's 10 of us in this swap, but I would have a majority of them that show up for the meeting. And like I said, the rest of them will mail them to me here and there. I have a whole box of cards over there that are, I think, from November that I've been wanting to show on a video and show you those too. But there you go. So there's my swap for tonight. Dang it, I'm so sorry. Using that beautiful, happy... every time I do a video, I sneeze and I cough. Okay, so sorry. That beautifully happy stamp set. Now this, like I said, is part of the Sale-a-Bration. So believe in the US here, when you place a $100 order, yep, it's the stamp set that you can get for free. And then there's more information in the back here, way on page 18, about how you can get your hands on that little mini cut and emboss machine for free. Alrighty, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for putting up my sneezing and my coughing, and of course just how I stamp. I hope you like my card. Maybe you'll give it a try. Thanks for watching. I'll see you back here next Monday. Bye-bye.